Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Sullivan, and welcome to the world of ChatSOC. This is the Sullivan on Comp team led by Michael Bell. And I just wanted to introduce our little training video for our new tool. About a year and a half ago, I saw the advent and publication of generative AI, and it blew my mind. I could not stop using it. It was amazing. And having been involved with Sullivan on Comp for so long, I saw immediately that it would have incredible applications. What if we could just talk to this research book instead of putting in search terms and scrolling around going through pages, reading, and just ask it our question and get an answer? And what if we could ask follow-up questions and really engage it in the conversation like you would a true expert in the subject matter? That would be pretty incredible. So I talked to Mike, he put his team together, and they've invented it. They've created it, and ChatSOC is here. You can use it on your desk as a replacement for a supplement for research, and you can get all your questions answered. In addition to that, there's all kinds of other amazing things that this kind of technology does. What we've done is we've laid Sullivan on Comp on top of a large language model. And so it works with the knowledge of the whole world to answer your questions really cognitively and completely. And you can use it to do, and they'll show you, write letters, write emails, create PowerPoints, do all other kinds of incredible things that harness the power of artificial intelligence. As of right now, all Sullivan on Comp users have ChatSOC, and we're just starting to see the feedback. It's really exciting. And so we're creating this little video just to give you some guidance as to how to get started with it.
Thanks a lot, Mike. I'm going to show you, folks, where to find ChatSOC. So if you're logged in, this is the starting page when you first log in. Just click on ChatSOC in the navigation menu, and it'll take you to a page that looks like this. And each of these little boxes is a button that serves to stimulate your thinking about what's possible. So this chat interface is just a single way to make a request and get information back from the chatbot. But there's a lot you can do with it. And so we wanted to show you what some of those things were. So each of these is an example. You can see, and I'll save the first one for last, but maybe you want to build a PowerPoint presentation. Here's a sample question about how you would ask for that. Prepare bullet points for a PowerPoint presentation on affirmative defenses. Maybe you want to ask hypotheticals. If someone's injured at a party that was sponsored by work, but not required to attend, would it be covered by work injury? Would it be a covered work injury? Of course, we have Mike Sullivan on this webinar, so we could just ask Mike, but we're gonna.
I'd have to send you a bill.
Yeah. You could ask it to draft text for a memo, prepare a memo explaining the time limit for bringing an action for penalties under Labor Code 5814. Or quick lookups, for example, what's the maximum TTD rate for a 2020 date of injury? And then this one's really useful. Get a summary of cases that speak to a particular issue. So we might say, summarize the key cases that address apportionment prior to prior non-industrial injury or condition. Now, as I said, these are not places to go or different features. They're just examples. So let me show you how you can use it as an example. You click on the first one here, and it fills in the question that was in that example into the chat interface, and you can go ahead and submit it. So the way you submit a question is just press the little paper airplane icon. And you can see it's going to go, at first it's sort of like understanding like what is the question you're asking, how am I going to go about answering it? And then now it knows to do lookups for documents in Sullivan on Comp. And it's going to find the content that addresses those concepts, and it'll use those sections to then generate an answer. And we're going to just give it a minute to complete.
I see we've got our little rhino icon on the side there, Mike.
Yeah. It's the rhino that's speaking. So a couple things I want to point out about just the format of this is that as it generates information to answer your question, it also then will give you links to the relevant sections that it got that content from. And let's find a different one here. So you could see even what subsection it was in. And you can click any one of these to go to that place and read more in the text. The features are you can copy the message. So say you want to copy and paste this into claims notes, into a Word document, into a matter management system, you can do that. If you go to the upper right-hand corner, you'll see there's some additional features here. And one of them is to share it publicly. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can enable that. And then you'll see a little clipboard that is visible. You can go to a new tab. And that's a link you could send to anybody in the world. And when they get it, they'll be able to see that dialogue that you created. And so that's a way to share the information. So I think that's the overview that I am kind of covering here today. I want to introduce up next, Jennifer Mancuso.
Thank you so much, Michael. And I'm just going to be going through a couple of different examples. There's going to be a variety of questions. So we're going to do some that look, may sound more like a defense attorney or may sound more like an applicant attorney question or even an adjuster question. So let me go ahead and show you the first example. And on the left side, you're going to see that there's some chats here that we've kind of loaded in for this demo. But when you're logged into your own account, if you want to pull up any prior chats or prior conversations that you've asked, you can go ahead and type in the search here. For this one, I'm going to go ahead and type in QME. And then I could pull up that chat and it's going to pull up the one that I previously asked. So for this example, the question is, I'm drafting an advocacy cover letter to a qualified medical evaluator. The case is denied and the applicant has been working for a new employer for the past year. Prepare a list of questions for the qualified medical evaluator to shift liability onto the new employer's carrier under Labor Code 5412 and 5500.5. So you can see here, this was a question that was asked, and here was the response that was generated. It gives you an overview of what it searched in Sullivan on comp, and it kind of gives you some of the questions right here for you. And then also, like Michael Bell mentioned, you can also go to the sections and kind of read more if you wanted to dive into that a little bit deeper. But for what I was specifically asking, I actually wanted it to be a letter. So I responded back with update the format of your response so it reads as a letter. And then what the chat did is it actually restructured it into a letter format, which is really great. You can also do like memos and emails as well. You can just tell it exactly what you need. The more clear you are, obviously, the better results you're going to get. So if you want it as a letter, go ahead and specify that. And when you're looking at the response, I was actually saying this as a defense attorney. So you can look here that it says it actually was started the question and said that it was more, for the applicant or representing the applicant. So what I did is I went back and I asked, no, sorry, we're actually representing the employer, not the applicant. So from there, you can see that it re-updated the format of the letter, and it starts with, as representatives of the employer's name, we are seeking your expert medical evaluation in the context of a denied claim where, so-and-so applicant, and then it kind of goes from there. So you can see that it gives you the description, gives you the letter format that you're looking for, and then you can kind of customize it and take it and use this as a guide. And I'm pulling up, this is more like a hypothetical question. So you can ask hypotheticals, give it a scenario. So for this one, it says, would a teacher who gets hurt running on a track at school before school hours have a compensable claim? So what it says is, based on a search in Sullivan on comp and reviewing all the documents, all the chapters of the treatise, it says that the compensability of a teacher's injury running before school, essentially, it depends on several factors. And then it's going to give you those factors. And you can kind of continue to read that. And then if you want to get more specific, let's say you want to, as a defense attorney, you're actually trying to, get a list of deposition questions. It will give you a list of questions that you can use that will establish whether the facts of the case merit compensability. So you can kind of scroll down and see here that it's going to give you a variety of questions that you can use for your depo.
Well, that's really cool, especially for new lawyers, not knowing what to ask. And I saw too that there's a whole bunch of ideas that it concerned itself with that didn't immediately occur to me, even as an experienced lawyer when I first saw the question.
Yeah,
It's pretty
absolutely.
incredible. In fact, I took it through an interview process that I used to interview all new lawyers, and in some instances, it gave better answers than I would have given. It's
That's
pretty
awesome.
freaking cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm actually going to pass this over to Bethany now, who's going to give you some more examples and then also give you some helpful tips to kind of show you how to get the best responses out of the chat.
Thank you, Jennifer. So hi, everyone. I'm just going to go over some examples. My questions are more probably from an applicant attorney perspective. So my question here is, if you get terminated for good cause, can you get temporary disability? And so here was my answer that I got. And I've noticed with a lot of the answers that we get, you'll kind of get a general response in the first paragraph, and then it will go more in depth in the following paragraphs after that. And then towards the end, you will actually get a summary or a conclusion. So yeah, mostly I feel like the overall conclusion is more towards the end of your answers that you receive from the ChatSOC bot. And like we said, you can always copy this message. You can share it publicly by coming back up here and copying this link. So again, all the different links are in here, so you can go ahead and read more about where we actually got these answers from. So that's one example. I have another example of just a general question. The question was, is there authority for the proposition that an injured worker who travels for extended work assignments or contracts is entitled to medical treatment where they happen to be located at any given time? So again, we got an answer here. It's very in-depth. You can see that we pulled from mostly section 7 right here, 7.5. And down here we have, in conclusion, injured workers who travel for extended periods of work are entitled to necessary and reasonable medical treatment wherever they are located, as long as the treatment is within a reasonable geographic area related to their employment conditions. So yeah, that's a pretty good answer right there. There's a lot you can do here. ChatSOC will really take out so much of your time researching and trying to piece together all of the information that is already in Sullivan on Comp. It is just going to, be such an amazing tool for you. I do want to give you a couple of helpful tips. So, as you're using ChatSOC, be specific. The more detailed, the better. Detailed questions really help ChatSOC provide a more precise and useful answer for you. Try to use clear and concise language without any jargon or overly brief entries. Also, start a new chat every time that you want to ask a question about a new topic. And that will help, later on when you come in here. You saw us looking up some of our past conversations that we've had with ChatSOC. So, it's best to not have one chat with all these different questions in there as they relate to different issues. Try to start a new chat every time that you have a question about a new issue. Also, if an answer is off track, you saw us, we asked a lot of follow-up questions and gave more direction to ChatSOC to really get what we wanted out of this. So if you need to ask any follow-up questions, please do that. You can even tell ChatSOC if they're on the right track or if they're not. And yeah, but overall, I think this is going to be an amazing tool for all of you. And I really hope you enjoy using it. If there is anybody on this webinar right now who does not currently have access to Sullivan on Comp, then Michael Bell is actually going to show you how you can go ahead and get access to this.
Thank you, Bethany. So it's really easy to, if you're not already a subscriber, it's really straightforward. Come to our website. It's www.sullivanoncomp.com. Right on the homepage, you can scroll down, locate a free trial button. We have them all over the site. So just click on the free trial button and it'll take you to a page. It's sullivanoncomp.com/free trial. You could go there directly and just go ahead and fill out the form and we'll set you up with a free trial. So that'll give you access to all of Sullivan on Comp. But specifically to check out ChatSOC, it's one of the features in Sullivan on Comp. And so you'll be able to really give it a test run during your 2-week trial.
Very good. I think that about sums it up. Thanks for the training video, folks. I hope you guys enjoy the world of Sullivan and Comp as much as we do.